Joseph had an inkling that his life wasn't just for himself. His head was screwed on right. Genesis 20, verse 50, verse 20. You intended to harm me. This is when his brothers were apologizing. Please forgive us. Don't kill us. Let's reconcile. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. Guys, it's okay. Don't worry. Your lives are not at stake. You wanted to harm me, but that's fine. But how that happened and why that happened, it wasn't just for me. It was for the saving of many lives. Our clan, our family, the whole nation. He was just not just thinking about himself. He knew his life was not just for self-consumption. It's not just about personal comfort or convenience. Guess what? Life is not about you. Tell the person beside you, life is not about you. It really is not. But sometimes we live life as if it is. That we're the center of the universe. I want to learn from Joseph. Because I sometimes think it's about me. But I'm just grateful for this reminder. I read this article a few days ago. Councilor Soto calls for transparency in LGU transactions. He's a counselor in Pasig. Vico actually grew up in kids' church when I was a kids' church teacher. And he proposed an ordinance involves automatic online publication of documents, which includes the bidding and awards as well as availability of public records upon request. What was his reason? So that, it's everything's there online. Biddings, all the biddings. Now, how many of you know not very many people like that ordinance? He texted me the other day, says, please pray for me because not very many people like me. But you see, the convictions that were built when he was a young kid has carried him through to where he is today. At the expense of personal comfort. He could actually be a businessman, or he can just have a private practice on his own and just be a millionaire or be a businessman, but he's serving. A couple weeks ago, there was a couple I met. You've met. I've shown you their pictures before. Georgie and Jem Navarro. I told you this story. They would have their Bible study. They own a hardware store, and they would bring their workers in the hardware in their house, feed them food, and then have a Bible study with them. Found out that 4 of their workers are haven't been married yet, primarily because of finances. What do? They rented a restaurant, decked it out, personal finance, decked it out, okay? Called Pastor Jeff, why don't you officiate the wedding? And officiated 4 couples, their wedding that night, and they were so happy because now they fulfilled their dream. Finally, we're married. Finances is not an issue. We got married, and they now honored God through their lives and through their marriage. Georgie and Jem are not millionaires. They're not super rich people. But they just saw we will leverage the platform, the finances, what God has given us for the glory of God. Question, are you leveraging what God has given you for His glory? Or is it just about us or myself or my future portfolio?